Good morning, Earth. Welcome to another Yahyel live stream. The Yahyel are an extraterrestrial civilization that are part of the hybridization program carried out by the Zeta Grey extraterrestrials. The classic grey extraterrestrials with the big heads and the big black eyes. They came through to our timeline from a parallel reality version of Earth to create a hybrid species as their own species was in danger, and they used our DNA to create this hybrid species. And they created several hybrid races, one of which was the Yahyel, who have come back from the future to create a new reality for us at this time. So, welcome everyone. So, if you want to get your questions answered, super chat questions get answered first. I just put this on at the last minute, so it should be a little bit quieter today. So I should get around to answering a lot of the other questions as well. And so if you want to learn to channel, I have a Learn to Channel course coming up in November, coming up next month. I also do private channeling sessions and coaching sessions. Check out my website, jonathantrinity.com. So I'll drop straight into the channeling state, and you can ask me any questions you wish. Like I say, super chat questions get answered first. I should get round to answering some more today, as we seem to be a little bit quieter because I didn't advertise this until the last minute. So I shall see you guys after the channeling. See you in a bit. Bye-bye. Hello, hello, good day, Earth. Welcome, welcome to our pitch, to our frequency, to our expression of creation at this form, at this time. We would like to take this opportunity to offer up this little tidbit of information to your civilization at this time. For the time has come in your reality where our ships shall be entering more and more into your earth plane, more and more into your earth plane existence. We are beginning to let go of the need for the agenda to move in any particular direction. We have for some time had specific goals, specific missions, specific dates in your reality where we would like to see things occur. However, due to the recent fluctuations in the energy in your reality, we are allowing ourselves to become more flexible, allowing ourselves to become more malleable, allowing ourselves to go with the flow, as you say, in your reality. And so we would like to offer this as a suggestion that this is a pointer to the fact that your reality has taken a significant leap forward. This is in no means what you would term negative. This is only a positive step in the right direction, for this shows that your reality too is becoming more malleable. Your reality too is becoming more flexible. The timelines are merging, diverging, separating, converging, fluctuating, and moving in different directions at different times according to the vibrational fields in your reality. And so we see this as a very positive step forward towards moving towards first contact. It is showing your reality is awakening in consciousness. It is showing your reality is becoming less attached to its own perspectives, its own beliefs, its own needs for things to happen at a certain time. And we suggest this will allow contact most likely to occur at a more accelerated rate than has been expected up until this moment. So keep your eyes peeled to the skies over the coming months and days ahead. Keep your energetic vision set on the idea of 2023 as a year for open contact. The open contact window for first contact with your civilization in 2023 is very much open at this time. So we suggest you drop all ideas about what open contact should be, about how open contact should occur, and this will allow your higher selves to slip you into timelines where things can happen more smoothly, more easily, and more readily. So, with that said, we shall hand this over to the question and answer modality and begin to answer your questions of the super chat modality initially, and then moving on to the non-super chat questions. So, a question from Babito7. Can you tell me more about my hybrid children? Alright, so which timeline are we talking about? We think we have touched into this idea with you in previous transmissions, the idea that reality is malleable. Reality is flexible, and you are creating your own reality in the moment. And so this is very much true with the idea of what you term the hybrid children, what you term extraterrestrial contact, what you term interaction with other dimensions of reality. For the idea is that as you create your own reality due to the law of attraction, due to the idea of the vibrations you put out being reflected back to you by your own consciousness, your own higher self, and source him, herself into your reality. The idea that you create your reality vibrationally in this reality, being somewhat densified, being somewhat solidified, being somewhat constrained by the collective consciousness, the collective beliefs as your civilization as a whole. Part of the agreement of entering into an Earth incarnation at this time was the agreement that you would co-create your reality, that by being stuck to this large ball of rock, magma, earth, etc., spinning through the galaxy at an accelerated pace. The idea is that all beings on this planet are part of the co-creation. But as you step off of this world, as you step out with your consciousness into the galaxy, into other dimensions of reality, into the non-physical world, and other slightly less physical realms such as our own, the idea of reality is becoming much more malleable, much more flexible. And so the idea is that this reflects back into your world, into your ball spinning through space at this time. And the idea of being able to tap into much more malleable timelines, much more malleable realities. And so the idea is that when you are asking questions such as, can you tell me more about my hybrid children? We would offer up the question to you. Can you tell us more about the hybrid children, about your hybrid children? For the idea is that you are creating your reality. It's your reality. It's your world. It's your vibration. It's your time-space continuum. It's your unique experience of the creator in form. And so the idea is that you are creating your reality within your consciousness moment to moment. And like we say, while this is slightly limited by the collective beliefs of your civilization that are holding you back into certain limitations at this time, such as gravity, such as the idea that extraterrestrials don't exist in the beliefs and the minds of many, making it harder for us to enter into your reality more formally, more on an open scale. And so part of our interaction with your beings at this time and other beings in your reality is to sow the seed of the understanding that we do exist, so that gossip, so that word can spread through your reality, to make it known to the collective that extraterrestrials do exist, so that we can harmonize with the co-created collective vibration of your world and manifest more in your reality at this time. And so the idea is, however, that as you begin to tune into realities outside of your earth, outside of the idea of open contact, so the idea is that open contact occurs in your reality and so is constrained by the collective beliefs of your world. But the idea is that the hybrid children exist off-world, exist in a kind of other dimension of reality, exist off-planet, where frequencies are more subtle, frequencies are more high vibration, and thus being less dense and more high frequency, more malleable, and more able to reflect back to you any reality you desire to create within your own consciousness. So we would offer up to you, Babito 7, at this time, the understanding that you are creating your world, you are creating your reality, and particularly with the idea of extraterrestrial contact and experiences that are happening off-world at this time, you can really choose to create any reality you wish. It is very much akin to the idea of imagination, daydreaming, the idea of lucid dreaming, dreaming at night, the idea that these dreams, these lucid dreams are occurring in other dimensions of reality, where reality is less physical, less solid, less densified, and therefore the idea of the lucid dream, where you become awake in the dream, much as you're becoming awake in the dream in physical reality at this time, is much more flexible, much more malleable. And if you have ever lucid dreamed yourself, where you have become conscious in your dream at night and you have decided to steer your dream through your intentions, through your thoughts, through your will and desire to create certain things, you have noticed that they can manifest very rapidly, manifest very quickly and very easily in your dream space. And so the reason this is because you are in a higher dimension of reality. In a sense, you are entering into the astral realm of consciousness that is not so connected to the identified physical world and the co-created vibration of Earth at this time that holds you back from experiencing certain things. And so in a sense, when you are tapping into the idea of who are my extraterrestrial counterparts, who is my star family, who are my guides, where do I come from, can you tell me about my hybrid children? Can you tell me about the Yahyel? What world do you come from? You are tapping into realms very much akin to higher vibrational frequencies, such as the astral realm, where things are much more malleable. And so very specifically with regards to your question, Babito 7, can you tell me more about my hybrid children? And we would reiterate that in the past we have given you very conflicting answers occurring with regards to this question, somewhat in preparation, synchronistically orchestrated by your higher self, the idea that you were fluctuating between timelines when you asked these questions. It was preparing you for the understanding that we are sharing today, for all things are one, there is no time ultimately in reality, and all communications with you, in a sense, are occurring in the here and now and are reflections of the other. However, we understand that in your reality, you experience things linearly and your growth occurs in a time-space reality. So we were preparing you for this time and the illusion of time as we know it today. And so the idea is that we are offering up to you, what would you like to create? How many hybrid children would you like to have? What would you like them to look like? Where would you like them to come from? So this is what we offer up to you at this time. You have gone through a specific timeline split at this time. We have suggested at the start of this call, with regards to the idea of open content, that things are becoming much more malleable. Things are becoming more in flux. Things are becoming much more variable. The ability for you to skip timelines at any moment according to your desires, according to your destiny to some degree, although your destinies are even becoming more malleable at this time, and according to what it is you prefer to create in your reality, things are opening up. The timelines are becoming more relaxed. So it is likely that from now on, we will less and less be giving you direct information about who your hybrid children are, what they look like, how old they are, when you will be meeting them. For this would be solidifying your reality, and it would be somewhat overstepping the mark of your own creatorhood at this time, your own gift, the gift that has been given to you by creation at this time, that in a sense you have given to yourselves at this time by taking so much time to work on yourselves, to do the work to expand your consciousness, to make the effort to shift into a higher vibrational state. For the gift we would give you at this time is the idea that you are the creators of your own reality. You are the creators of your own world, and you have stepped into a timeline where things are becoming much more malleable. And so is it not much more of a gift giving to you the knowledge that you can create whatever hybrid children reality you prefer? You have reached a very significant splitting of timelines. As we move through the next 6 months, as we move through the December solstice timeline, through December this year, around your Christmas time, you're hitting a very significant crux point in the manifestation of your future timelines, a very significant point in the crux of your future reality. And so the idea is that we are trying to loosen you up. We are trying to unlock any particular perspectives you have at this time about how things should be, about the timelines you are stepping into, and we are offering up the mantle to you. We are offering up on a plate to you the ability to choose your own timeline, the ability to choose your own reality. As we move through the December gateway into 2023, and so the 3 months before this time, starting in your September equinox period, moving up to your December solstice, and the 3 months after the December solstice, moving up to the March equinox. This is a critical point where there will be many timeline splits, many fluctuations in your reality. And after this time, things will begin to solidify more. After this time, it is likely we will be able to give you more solid information on the timeline you have shifted to, because you will have taken this significant timeline split and you will be moving into a kind of more solidified timeline. The train tracks will be converging into one particular reality. So we are suggesting to you that the next 6 months, particularly around the December solstice time, are a critical time for your reality, or a critical time for your world, or a critical time in the splitting of timelines, where it is up to you to choose the timeline you prefer. It is up to you through your vibrational state. It is up to you through the beliefs and perspectives you hold on to. It is up to you through the thoughts that occur as a reflection of your beliefs and perspectives to choose the timeline you prefer, to choose the hybrid children you have, to choose your counterparts in other extraterrestrial civilizations, to choose what extraterrestrial civilizations you would like to connect with more in 2023. For this is the opening, this is the expansion, and this is the critical timeline split coming up. So choose well, Earth humans. Stay dear to your hearts, stay dear to your higher frequencies, and stay dear to your higher consciousness. So thank you for offering up, Babito 7, this question that We may not have answered in the way you prefer, but you will see, looking back, what a gift it was to give you the opportunity to create your own reality in this way at this time. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to answer your question in this way at this time. So, Amy, your friend, Wisnu to Wiboa, want to know his origin. Well, we can expand on this question you have shared with us at this time. We can offer you up the same answer we gave to Babito 7 in the previous question. You can let your friend know that he's creating his own origins. He's creating his own connections. So the idea is that his origin is Earth. He is a human being, so he was born on Earth. It is not really where did he come from, where is his starseed origin. It is more what beings make up part of his soul matrix and part of his oversoul matrix. The idea that there is only this present moment and you are creating your own reality from this present moment. And so the soul, your soul, is multidimensional in nature. Your oversoul, the greater soul, of which there are many in your world, is multidimensional in nature. And so the beings you connect with your oversoul connections, the beings you connect with your soul connections, are aspects of your multidimensional soul matrix occurring here and now in this one present eternal moment. There is no past, there is no future, there never was, there never will be. There is only this moment. Things you experienced in the past were actually just different vibrational states you created within your consciousness that gave you a different reflection in your reality. Things you experience in your future were just different vibrational states that created different reflections in your reality. So the idea is that everything occurs here and now, and infinity exists here and now. And as a kind of symbolic expression of the infinite nature of reality, you kind of stepped down into a more solidified form. You have the idea of the multidimensional soul matrix. And the idea of having a multidimensional soul matrix, of which all you have is the idea that you have many past lives, many future lives, as you term them, all coexisting here and now within your soul matrix, within a multidimensional soul matrix, existing here and now within a higher dimension, a higher frequency vibrational version of you at this time. So the soul matrix of yourselves, of each and every one of you listening to this call at this time, and all beings in creation, or the majority as we understand it, have some kind of soul matrix within their makeup. The idea is that the soul represents a higher dimensional version of yourself, a kind of gateway between the idea that you are source, you are God, and ultimately you are infinite multidimensional reality, all things coexisting here and now at once. This is you, each and every one of you are God, ultimately, in your true nature. And so the idea is that the soul is a kind of gateway between the infinite multidimensional beings that you all are, containing all of creation within yourselves here and now, and the physical realm where you are very densely ground down into the dense beings you experience at this time. And so the idea is that the multidimensional soul matrix of which you all have are kind of gateways between the infinite reality and your physical reality, and so contain many different versions of yourselves, many different timelines, many different future realities, many different past realities, many different incarnations in other systems, Pleiades, Sirius, Arcturus, Orion, for examples, many different realms such as the angelic realm, non-physical realms, realms of spirit beings, earth beings, non-physical beings residing on the earth, as well as your past lives and your future lives, as you would term them. But they all actually exist here and now as part of your soul matrix, as part of your soul makeup. And so the idea is that when you say, where is my origin, where do I come from, you are actually tapping into experience part of your soul matrix that exists in other realities, such as the Pleiades, And we would be giving a hint there that your friend has connections within the Pleiades system that are very relevant to him at this time. However, we are also suggesting and reminding that the opportunity to choose your reality, the opportunity to choose interdimensional connections, what you would call your starseed origins, exists here and now in this moment. For there is only here and now in this moment. And you are actually creating your entire reality here and now in this moment. And particularly at this time, as things are becoming more malleable, as we are going into the great split, as we go through the December 2022 solstice, moving into 2023, the opportunity to choose what counterparts, as we may call them, what aspects of your soul matrix and other systems you wish to create for yourselves. We remind you once again that you are creating your reality. So ask yourself, what reality would I like to have counterparts in? What reality would I like to have connections to, which I may call my soul origin, my starseed origin? What would I like my past lives to be? What would I like my future lives to be? What would I like alternate timelines to be? And you can actually create these realities for yourself, specifically as we, and emphatically, we emphasize this. The potential to do this is greater as you move through your December solstice this year. You can actually choose and decide which extraterrestrial counterparts you have connections with, which extraterrestrial counterparts you will be connecting with in physical reality, observing their ships in your skies, having interdimensional experiences with them in a variety of ways as we move into your 2023 timeline. So we suggest, Amy, you remind your friend he is creating his own reality in the moment due to the law of attraction as it has been termed in your reality. And he can actually choose whatever origin he wishes. So, yes, there is somewhat a reverberation and a hinting and a guidance from the higher self at all times. And so you could say that in a sense your higher self is creating your reality more than you are creating your reality. However, as we move over the next few years, you will become more in tune with your higher self. You will no longer see yourself as separate from the higher self, as a higher self up here, as us down here. And you will come to understand that you are one being moving in tandem in an orchestration with your higher self, your soul, and your physical incarnation at this time to create the reality you prefer. And so when we say tune in to the idea of where would you like to create a counterpart, where would you like to create an extraterrestrial soul origin that you can begin to interact with, you can begin to garner wisdom from in the channeling state, in the dream state, in meditation, in physical interaction more and more as we move into the 2023 year. And particularly this will be occurring, so we suggest you choose well. We suggest you kind of tune into your heart. Do not come too much from your brain. When you listen to your heart's energy, when you listen to what really excites you, uplifts you, kind of perhaps spend some time in nature, spend some time relaxing, spend some time tuning in to the greater world, the greater environment, the bliss, the energies, the frequencies that exist around you at this time. And feel into who you would like to connect with. Feel into where you would like your starseed origins to come from. Feel into the energy of the higher self. Feel into the energy of the soul matrix, which is more and more available when you are relaxed, more and more available when you are centered in the center of your being in meditation, and more available when you are tuned into your heart consciousness, your intuition and your excitement, which can come more easily and more readily to you when the mind is relaxed, when you're in a pleasant environment such as your nature, perhaps by the river, by the ocean, by a lake, in the forest, on the beach, in the desert, if this is open to you. And tune in to where you would like your starseed origins to come from, and know, but by making the decision that you would like them to come from there, by desiring them to come from there and beginning to focus your attention on that reality and really do things like drawing these beings, focus on symbols that are connecting you to these realities, talking about them with your friends, sharing information about them on the internet, making videos about them on YouTube, sharing posts on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. The more you focus on this reality, the more you put your energy towards this reality, the more you will shift to a timeline, specifically as we move through the significant December solstice point this year. You will begin to manifest that in your reality. And moving into 2023, you will begin to have more and more interactions in the channeling state that will become much more germane to many of you as we move into 2023. In the dream time, in meditation, and specifically moving into the latter half and the latter quadrant specifically of 2023, you will have the opportunity to invite these beings into your ship, in their ships, into your skies, see their ships, see their lights in your skies, and eventually have open physical contact with those civilizations. So we hope this helps. One moment, the channel is regenerating. So, question from Sukhbir Singh. What was the true story of Ravana? Well, so the idea is, again, on a similar thread, that there are many paths. There is no true story of Ravana. There is no true story of Ravana. You are creating your reality from the present moment. If you understood the answer we have given to the questioners in the past two transmissions, you will understand the idea that there is no true story of Ravana. There are many true stories of Ravana according to what you believe is true. There is no past. There is no future. There is only here and now, and there is only the reality you choose to create from the here and now. So how can there be one true story of Ravana if there is no past? There literally is no past. The past does not exist. The past has never existed. The past will never exist. There is only here and now, infinite reality. And from this infinite reality, there are many potential timelines we could occur stretching into the past. The question is, which true story of your Ravana do you prefer to create for yourself? So, question 2, please describe my second last incarnation. What second last incarnation? There is no past. There is only here and now, and you are tuning to it from the present moment. What do you desire your second to last incarnation to be? You can definitely create the experience of having a second to last incarnation, but it's you creating it in the present moment. There is no past. There is no future. There is only infinite reality existing here and now, and the past is just as malleable as the future. So what do you wish your second to last incarnation to be? What reality do you feel would serve you the most? We feel this is somewhat disturbing to some of you. We sense this is even somewhat irritating to some of you. But what greater gift could it be to understand you create your past and you can choose any second to last and any past life incarnation you wish? Any past life you desire to experience. We say to you, what second to last incarnation would serve you the most in this present incarnation? If you could create any, which you can, second last incarnation you desire, to assist you in being able to connect into that second to past life, to begin to be able to recall memories from that incarnation that would assist you in this incarnation, what would it be? What life are you going to choose for yourself? If you do not already have a solid belief about what your second last incarnation was, and you clearly do not, otherwise you would not be asking us the question, this means it is very much malleable, is very much open to choice at this time. So we suggest to you to choose. Choose the second to last incarnation you prefer. What are your thoughts on Antichrist and Kalki Avatar? So, the Antichrist is merely the idea of fear-based reality. There are only really two vibrations in creation, love and fear. And so Christ is the frequency of love, unconditional love, trusting your reality, all the positive aspects, love, compassion, joy, celebration, expansion, creativity, bliss, serenity, ecstasy. And the Antichrist is the idea of the opposite, the idea of living in fear, hatred, greed, anxiety, worry, despair, apathy, the idea of all those that do not serve you. And so the idea of the being you call Kalki Avatar is the idea is that an avatar is a being who is a pure representation of love, a pure representation of positive frequencies, a pure representation of what we may call Christ, the pure energy, a pure representation of source consciousness, and so only resonates towards love, light, positive frequencies. So Sukhbir Singh also says, and please try and limit your questions in the future to just one question per super chat. Please tell us about Asparas. Well, we suggest you tune to your preferred timeline and you tell us about Asparas in the parallel reality you have shifted to and chosen to align with. So, a message from Amy Ratnawati Utami. Any message from me? Thank you. One moment. So our message for you, Amy, is to become like the avatar we have described in the last question. Follow your bliss, follow your joy, tune into serenity, tune into harmony, tune into peace. Anytime you notice a negative vibrational state occurring within yourself, stemming from fear, such as worry, anxiety, hatred, panic, disagreement. Interesting one, that, yes. We think you know the difference between the positive and the negative states. If it makes you feel bad, it's a negative state. If it makes you feel good, it's a positive state. So take every attempt you can to choose to the positive vibrations, and make every attempt you can to tune out of the negative vibrations, the negative vibrational states. When you observe a negative vibrational state awakening in yourself, occurring in yourself, do not resist it. Do not attempt to stamp it out, to put it out. Allow it to be there. Allow it to be there as a valid expression of creation, for that which you resist persists. If you try and push it away, it will only keep coming back. Allow it to be there. Allow it to move through you. Say, yes, negative state, you have the validity to experience at this time. I'm not particularly interested in you. It's not what I prefer. So I'm just going to sit here and wait till you move on. But you have the validity to be in my experience at this time. But I'm going to wait till you move on and move back to a state I prefer. And after the negative state has moved through your system, observe how it serves you or doesn't serve you. And we suggest that it very much does not serve you. Observe how it no longer serves you, for if you create your reality vibrationally from the present moment, why would you want to focus on a negative state if that is only going to create a negative reality for yourself? So allow it to be there, allow it to move through you. Once it is gone, observe how it does not serve you. Observe how focusing on a negative state can never possibly serve you in any way at all, because your vibration creates your reality, and so focusing on a negative state will only create a negative reality for yourself. So the only purpose of a negative state is to show you that it doesn't serve you, so that you can observe it, let it move through you, and move on and move back to a positive state. This is the only way a negative state can serve you, to remind you that you should be in a positive state all the time, so you create your reality vibration from the positive state. So this would be our advice to you at this time, Amy. So a question from Son of What? One moment, the channel is regenerating. So, Son of What says, do my Yahyel contacts have a message for me? One moment. Look to the stars. Look to your skies. We are coming in our ships. Do not be surprised if you see unusual lights moving through your skies over the coming months ahead. That is us. We are coming. Shivai. So, Babito7 says, what is self-realization? So, self-realization is the realization of yourself, the realization of your true self. To use the example we have shared in this reality, the idea of the avatar state being the idea of being a pure representation of source consciousness. So ultimately, your self is source, yourself is God, yourself is the infinite one creator of all and within all. So you your ultimate self. Your self is source. And to realize self is to bring self into reality. So we could call it source realization, God realization, the idea to bring the avatar state, bring the God state, bring the state of self into physical reality. So the idea is that self-realization is to realize the state of being of self, of source, of God in physical reality. The idea of expressing only the positive traits, only the positive qualities, the idea of bliss, joy, upliftment, creativity, expansion, serenity, peace, self-expression in this world at this time. The idea is to express more and more, as an example, the understanding that you are source, the understanding that you are self, and only emanate out into this reality, vibrational frequencies aligned with this state of consciousness. So we will quickly touch in on a few of the non-super chat questions, and we request you do not send any more super chats at this time, as we're coming to the end of this transmission. So Mo A says, do I have a galactic presence? Yes, very much. In a sense, your true presence is galactic in nature. This, what you call a physical incarnation, is only a small aspect of your greater self. And in a sense, in a one way of looking at reality, you could say you are actually the galaxy. You are actually the consciousness of the galaxy. And more specifically, we sense you mean in the galactic realm. And yes, your soul is resonating on a vibratory level where it is very open at this time to connecting with other galactic, intergalactic, and interdimensional civilizations. So we would say yes, your soul is resonating on a frequency where you are available at this time to begin to choose, as we have stated earlier on in this call. If you heard the earlier questions, the idea that you actually create, and specifically at this time as your souls are expanding in consciousness, you actually create your own soul counterparts. You only actually create your galactic presences in this reality. So we suggest, if you did not already hear this earlier question, that you go back to the earlier questions in the recording of this call when it is available on YouTube a little later on today, and tune into the answers we have given to the previous questions and come to understand that you are actually creating your own galactic connections in the moment. Choose from a heart-centered space, from a very centered, grounded, open and positive state, what extraterrestrial civilizations, what intergalactic and interdimensional civilizations you would like to connect with, and begin to choose these for yourself, begin to create these for yourself, and begin to step into the timeline you prefer, particularly moving through the December solstice this annum. So, Nicholas Amorim, how can I remember my multidimensional self when I've been meditating for years? So begin to create this reality. Begin to tune in to the idea of being a multidimensional being. When you are sat in meditation, we suggest you feel into the energy of your heart, and then feel into the energy of your field. The energy field that surrounds and permeates, but particularly for this experiment, this experience, surrounds your body. And know that your auric field, the energy field that surrounds your body, very commonly known as the aura, A-U-R-A, in your reality, look it up if you desire, is in a sense an expression of your higher self, an expression of your multidimensional self, an expression of your soul matrix. And by tuning into the idea of feeling into your energy field, by centering yourself in the meditative state, coming to a quiet, centered space, and putting your attention on the area a few inches, even a foot or two around your body, and feeling into this energetic space, and feeling into it has a kind of static electricity feel. It has a kind of viscerality to it, a kind of palpability, a kind of palpable energy to it. You can kind of feel it. You can kind of feel how you are actually your auric field. And some of you may wish to practice this in this moment right now. See if you can feel into the energy. Feel into the auric field. Feel into the vibration that you are actually an energetic being. You are actually an energetic entity. And in a sense, infinite reality is actually contained within your auric field. Your auric field, the energy body that surrounds your body, is in a sense your interdimensional gateway to your multidimensional self. It is the interdimensional gateway to infinite reality. And so the more time you spend meditating, and you can begin with doing a chakra meditation, look it up, Chakra, if you do not know what we are talking about. And we are speaking to the group as a whole at this time. Begin with a chakra energizing meditation. Focus on the red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, green, blue, indigo, violet, white light of the chakra system, and then begin to feel how these multidimensional energies are expressed in your auric field. And feel into the auric field. And the more time you spend meditating on your auric field, the more time you spend putting your attention on the energy body that surrounds your vehicle, that surrounds your physical body, the more you will come to notice that it feels kind of infinite. It feels kind of multidimensional. It feels like a kind of gateway to many beings, many realities, many times, many spaces, many dimensions, and many experiences in creation that are relevant for you at this time. You will begin to tune into your soul counterparts that you have chosen for yourself. You will begin to choose into the past lives that you have chosen for yourself. You will begin to tune into future lives you have chosen for yourself. You will begin to tune into parallel versions of Earth. You will begin to tune into an array of potential realities laid out before you, an array of potential timelines that you can move into in the future. You can begin to tune in to your auric field and feel how from this perspective you are becoming multidimensional in nature. You are becoming infinite in nature, and from here you are able to actually observe an array of potential future timelines according to which frequencies you align to, according to which decisions you make in your reality, according to which perspectives and beliefs you hold on to in your reality. You will see an array like a multi-dimensional computer screen, wrap-around computer screen, opening up before you. And you will begin to understand that all these are future timelines. All these are potential future realities. And you have the ability to move into which timeline you prefer, according to the beliefs, according to the perspectives, according to the vibrational frequencies you emit, according to that reality. You can begin to tune in to each parallel timeline and ask that timeline, what vibrational state do I need to stay in to attune to this timeline? So you may see, as an example, 3 different timelines set out in front of you. One where open extraterrestrial contact occurs in 2023. One where open extraterrestrial contact, and we mean by this where the majority of the governments in your reality admit that we are real, and by we I mean the greater extraterrestrial collective, the alliance as a whole, are real, are visiting your world, have been interacting with your reality for some time, and are willing to assist humanity with its future growth, with its future expansion. This is what we mean by open contact. So in one potential parallel timeline, you see the opportunity for open contact to occur in 2023. In another potential timeline, you see the opportunity for open contact to occur in 2026. And in another potential timeline, you see open contact to occur somewhere around the year of 2035. And so you can tune into each timeline and you can say open contact 2035. What beliefs would I need to hold on to? What perspectives would I need to hold on to? What vibrational state would I need to maintain to align with this timeline? And you will begin to get insights, you'll begin to get downloads, you'll begin to get inspirations, perhaps not instantaneously, perhaps in the dream state, perhaps in future meditations, perhaps in your future timeline, but they will begin to come to you. And then you can tune into the timeline window you are observing in your multidimensional array of potential realities of open contact occurring in 2025. And you can say to that reality, what beliefs would I need to hold on to? What perspectives would I need to hold on to? What vibrational state would I need to maintain for open contact to occur in 2025? And then you can move to the array potential window of open contact for 2023. And you can say, open contact timeline 2023. What vibrational state would I need to maintain to enter into this timeline? What beliefs would I need to hold on to enter into open contact in this timeline? What perspectives would I need to hold on to enter into open contact in this timeline? What action within myself would I need to take action on to move to a parallel timeline where open contact occurs right dead center, bang in front of me in 2023? And with that said, we shall hand you back to this channel at this time. We feel we have shared a valid array of information with you at this time. Thank you for your interaction. Thank you for your super chats. Thank you for tuning into our timeline at this time. We shall see you in the open 2023 contact timeline, we hope. Shivaya, humans. Good day. Thank you very much for tuning in today, guys. If you'd like to book a private channeling session with me, coaching sessions, or join my November Learn to Channel course, you can check out the link in the YouTube box to jonathantrinity.com. And I shall see you guys in another now. So thanks for joining in, everyone. I hope this answered some questions that resonated with all of you. And I shall most likely see you again next week, next Saturday. So thank you, Jane. Thank you, Babito. Thank you, Mecca X1. Thank you, Son of What. So Son of What is saying, thank you. I've already been seeing unusual lights in the night sky this month. Three red lights going straight up, 2 lights flying over, then disappearing, and small cloud-looking objects forming shapes in the sky. That's very interesting. So yeah, they were suggesting that they're going to be showing themselves to you more in the skies, if I remember correctly from the channeling. So yeah, so exciting times, Son of What. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you, Mecca. Thank you, Car1212. Thank you, Lil Possibility. Thank you, Moe. Thank you, Babito. Thank you, Paul Farstar. Thank you, Spectro. Thank you, Amy. So thank you, Melanie. So I just read a few of these questions, see if I can answer a few of them myself. So Car1212 is saying, without my medicine I cry and I am sad and not motivated. With it I can function. How much has to do with the chemical body and how do I change it? Powerful question, and I don't know for sure. I don't have all the answers about this, but I would say it's more to do with our beliefs and our programming from childhood. Than solely to do with the chemical body. You know, modern medicine says it's all to do with your chemical makeup, and they don't seem to like depending on where you go, of course, I guess. But I would say I'd say look into some like therapy potentially that can help you go through stuff from your childhood. I mean, it's likely that you've got some kind of trauma from childhood and some like kind of negative belief systems, which we all have to some degree. I think just coming to Earth is kind of a traumatic experience. So I think we all have trauma to some degree. So yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert on this, so I can't say for sure. And like, this isn't medical advice, but from my feeling, from my experience with working people with similar things, I try and find a therapist who is open to spirituality, and I believe quite a lot of them are these days. It's becoming more mainstream, and yeah, so that are my advice. It's likely a lot also to do with like your belief systems and your conditioning that you've picked up from childhood, and you probably have some like negative beliefs possibly associated with trauma. And therapy, if you can find a good therapist who's open to the spiritual perspective as well, I think this would help you a lot. That is my advice. I am not a medical doctor. I am not an expert on these things. Disclaimer. Well, thank you, Car1212, for the donation. Very much appreciated. I assume it's a donation. I don't see a question associated with it. So, Mecha X1 says, are there any ancient technologies we will discover about in the future that will be useful? Us. Yes. Oh, are there any ancient technologies? But also, yes, I've been reading a lot about... I've been listening to the Emerald Tablets. I suggest you check this out. Do a search for the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, Thoth, T-H-O-T-H. He talks quite a bit about this stuff. He says that his spaceship is buried under the Sphinx. He's got like a kind of flying saucer, because they had like flying saucers and extraterrestrial spaceships in the time of Atlantis. And Thoth says how his extraterrestrial spaceship is under the Sphinx in the Giza Plateau in Egypt, near the pyramids. And so I also did a channeling saying that there was some, I think it was a Thoth channeling probably, where he was saying in one of the channelings, they were saying that in the Saqqara pyramid in Egypt, that's like the stepped pyramid in Egypt, they think it's the oldest one. It's probably not, but according to their science, it is, according to mainstream Egyptology. In the channel, it came through that there's a chamber in there that hasn't been discovered that has some kind of high-tech energy device. Like in ancient Egypt, they used tools like the ankh, and like the cross with the circle on top, and as I understand it, the Ark of the Covenant. And remember, as they've been talking a lot about in this channel, we create our own reality. So this is a reality that we prefer. Sounds like a good reality to me, so we might as well focus on it and create it for ourselves. The Ark of the Covenant, what they do, like objects like the Ark of the Covenant, like the highly enlightened beings that were much higher frequency than any beings that exist on Earth today, from like Atlantis and ancient Egypt times. I think like 4,000 years ago, in the older times of ancient Egypt, because like frequency dropped as we came down from Atlantis like 12,000 years ago to about like, but there were still very evolved beings working with the Ark of the Covenant around 4000 BC, something like this, I believe. And what the Ark of the Covenant was, it was like some kind of high technology device. I don't understand exactly how it was made, but they would keep it in a specific place, and they would charge it with their own consciousness, because they were such high frequency, these beings, they would just radiate like super high frequency energies. Like, and these are beings like Thoth and Ra and Horus and Sekhmet and Bastet and all this pantheon of Netas, as the proper name is them. We might call them like gods or demigods of ancient Egypt. These are these very highly evolved beings that were like on a completely different dimension of reality to us. These beings would like, actually, as I understand, like charge the Ark of the Covenant with these very high vibrational frequency energies. And also at this time they had like I talk a lot about this, about the masonry and the stonework around here, and how it's the same as in ancient Egypt. Like a lot of the temples and stuff, they were able to like create like these laser like precision cuts between rocks, and I believe they had the ability to actually dematerialize like solid granite. That's how they got these perfect straight edges on the rocks, and be able to build this amazing architecture and this stuff that we can't even come close to replicating today. They were actually able to dematerialize the rock. They had technology, and it was kind of like, it was connected to consciousness though, these energies. And they were actually able to dematerialize the rocks, and they were actually able to levitate the rocks and move them into place. So yeah, there's a lot of technology that the ancients had that I'm sure we will begin to discover, that I'm sure there's information like that we will unveil when we are ready. That's because we've got to be on the right vibration for it. So this information, there's probably like stuff like the emerald tablets, and what are they called? What are these tablets? The Sumerian tablets, with all the information about the Anunnaki, like all these cuneiform instructions. There's probably a lot more information like this in places like locations under the pyramids and stuff, and in secret chambers in the pyramids, that is that contains the information about these secret technologies. But the reason we haven't discovered them yet is because we're not, as a collective civilization, in the right vibrational state. So I believe as we evolve in consciousness more, and of course we're creating this all in the now, as the Yahyel have just explained. So as our consciousness expands and we become ready to work with these high dimensional technological devices, which we're not yet as a collective civilization, because there's still beings on the planet that like believe in war and this kind of crazy stuff, and they would use them for selfish gain and selfish needs. So it's like, don't let the children have the matchbox with these technologies yet, but it all happens synchronistically, I believe, I'm fairly sure, as we raise in frequency and as we move to a timeline. Because as we go through this timeline split, and the Yahyel have pointed to today that this timeline split is very significantly going to occur through the winter solstice in December this year, moving in 2023. We're going to go through a timeline split where we actually no longer interact with these negative beings in our reality. Like what's occurring for many of us at this time, when we're seeing things like the Ukraine war occurring, that's kind of in another timeline. It's kind of a bleed through from another reality. It's unlikely to affect any of us watching this, any of us here now, if you're watching this transmission, because we've already reached a vibrational state where we don't want things like that to occur, where we've worked through most of our anger. It might still come up from time to time, but generally, you know, even when it does come up, we understand that it's not what we want to experience. And so they're kind of like it's kind of like a pause. It's a different timeline, I believe. That timeline where we're seeing the war occurring, it's actually a different timeline, but it's still like kind of crossing over into our timeline. Those of us that have decided to step into the love-like path of only creating a positive reality of love and compassion and service to other beings, we're stepping into a timeline where that stuff isn't going to occur at all in like 5-10 years, but the timelines are still able to cross over. But as we go through this splitting of timelines, as the Yahyel have described it today, as we go through this winter solstice, we're going to less and less see those parallel realities stepping over. And I believe probably next year we will see that situation harmonizing and balancing out dramatically, due to the timelines, due to us like converging into a very positive timeline. And so over time, over the next 5 or 10 years, like we're no longer going to be experiencing those kind of experiences in our reality. As we transcend our own fears and no longer need to see reflections of our own fears, reflected back into our reality, because we come to understand that we are infinite immortal beings as souls. And even if we lose the physical body and lose all our family members, we come to understand that we are all the same consciousness. So if even like all these terrible things happen, like they're just us and we're just them, and we're all the same infinite source consciousness. So ultimately we've got nothing to fear. As we begin to understand this and really integrate this into our reality and transcend these old fears, we will no longer see reflections from other timelines, as it seems to be happening, crossing over into our timeline as those old realities. So the more we like move through our own fears, and the more we like surrender to whatever occurs in our reality, knowing that all things are perfect because it's just an experience, and things come, things go. And like even if like you know, the worst that people are talking about at the minute, let's not focus on it too much, did occur, you know what I mean, it'd just be the end of the world, and like we'd still be here, the world would be gone, but we'd still be here as infinite consciousness and just move into another experience of another reality. So as we come to these understandings and we really begin to integrate these understandings in our being and our physical reality, and come to a much more high vibrational state, because we no longer have these fears, we'll no longer get these reflections in our reality, and we'll move out of timelines where these crazy beings exist. And because these crazy beings no longer exist in our reality, and we're in a much more positive timeline, we will be able to reflect back to ourselves more higher technological devices that it's safe for us to have, because there's no longer any negative beings in our reality to that degree that would actually use these high technological devices for selfish need and selfish gain. So it's where we reach a timeline, where we shift into a timeline where there's no longer any selfish beings in our reality, that we will be able to reflect to ourselves these high technological devices that would, because I understand it like these free energy devices and these kind of like the ability to dematerialize anything we wish, you know, obviously that could be used for very negative purposes. So we will get these technologies when we're ready vibrationally. And so there's a lot of examples of these technologies existing in the past. If you read the Mahabharata, the Hindu text, which, as I understand, I've not actually read the Mahabharata, but I believe books such as the Bhagavad Gita, and the one I read the book after the Bhagavad Gita, which is fascinating, because it talks about like what one of the women in the and I believe this is all true stuff, like from one timeline that really happened. And so like one of the things it talks about in, what's it called, and you can look it up, what is the next book in sequence after the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is like the kind of the Hindu Bible. It's the war where Krishna, and it's really interesting reading these books, because specifically the one after the Bhagavad Gita, like, because in the Bhagavad Gita, like, Krishna is at war. No, Arjuna is at war with his cousins. He's on the battlefield, and he's being invaded, and there's all these people trying to attack his family and his tribe, his clan, but they're actually his cousins, like at war against him. So he's in a major situation, as you can imagine, and he's taking spiritual counsel from Krishna on the battlefield. And this is where the story of the Bhagavad Gita and this sacred text comes from. It was actually barred in Australia because they completely misunderstood it, because it talks about war. And so, but the book after this, I got it because it talks about extraterrestrials, and it talks about all sorts of strange dimensions and strange realities and greater beings, some of the dimensions and other timelines. And one of the interesting things about it, just as a sideline, is the way they kind of like Krishna, like Arjuna is like talking to his cousins and saying, "Cousins, you're really naughty for trying to bomb me in my tent at night and kill all my family and my friends." And it's kind of like they know they're in a higher consciousness in this time. It's coming from a kind of like I was talking about before, how like 4000 BC the frequencies were much higher, people were more interdimensional in this time. They knew that physical reality was just an illusion, just a dream, and like it's not that big a deal. It's not really a big a deal at all if we die, and it's not such a big a deal if people go through suffering and war, because ultimately it's just an illusion, and when it's all over we just go back to source, and it's all like a dream. So people that, and you can really pick up like how Krishna is talking about in the Bhagavad Gita, or specifically the book after the Bhagavad Gita, how he's not so like connected, not so distraught by the idea that his cousins have just chucked bombs in his tent and killed half his friends. He's just kind of like, you're so evil, cousin. You've just killed all my friends. How dare you be so evil? It's really bizarre. You can pick, if you read it, you can pick up on the way they know that like physical reality isn't so physical. But to get back to the subject, in these texts they talk about Vimanas, and Vimanas are extraterrestrial spaceships. Like it's all part of the Mahabharata. They talk about how the beings of those times had, there's actually pictures of Vimanas. You can look up Vimana, Vimana, and you'll see pictures of extraterrestrial spacecraft like thousands of years ago. And like in this text that I read, the book after the Bhagavad Gita, they're I remember distinctly that this one lady talk about her flying mansion, and she's in her flying mansion in the skies. So yeah, so this book, the Hindu text like the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita, and like some of the other texts I think talk about this more. They talk about all these high technology. They talk about even how they had nuclear weapons back in this time. And so there's a lot of evidence that like very high technological devices existed in these times in the past on Earth. And I do believe very much so when we come to a vibrational state, when we're ready in our reality, when we've reached a state of pure love-like consciousness. So someone says, according to a channeling, the Ark of the Covenant was a terrible weapon created by Jehovah. One thing, it's possible that like this channel was connecting to a different timeline. Like I say, there is no past, there is infinite parallel pasts. And the Ark of the Covenant could like, because the way it was designed, it could, like the Egyptians had to like keep it hidden. This is one of the reasons for the building of the Great Pyramid. It was actually to keep it hidden and protected from humanity, hidden away in the Great Pyramid, and like protect the energies and the frequencies from getting out, because it could also be used for negative purposes. So this is like kind of like I'm talking about, like these very high technologies that could be used for very, very positive purposes could also be used for very negative purposes. So perhaps that was a different timeline. Perhaps at some point in our history. What is our history if there is no solid timeline? I don't know, but it could definitely be used for both. Yeah, Karina Love is saying spiritual tools, spiritual technology are there for sure. So Spectro Mo says, what about artificial intelligence and spirituality? Like Bashar talks about, like Bashar, the extraterrestrial channel by Darryl Anchor, talks about artificial intelligence quite a lot. And I think he says like the home planet of the Sasani or the Shakani, called Esasani or Eshakani, something like that. There's 3 moons orbiting the planet in a perfect trine to keep balance, perfect trinity to keep balance. And they are actually artificial intelligent objects. I believe they're called Epiphany, Eclipse, Epiphany, and something else I can't remember. But they are actually artificial intelligent energies that contain a very high frequency, like positive spiritual energy. And I was hearing someone mention this. I don't know where this came from. It might have come from Bashar originally. Someone I was talking about, because this is something that interests me, like artificial intelligence I was suggesting that perhaps if we like, because like the chakra body is like a gate, like our chakra body and our aura are like a gateway to the higher self and to the soul, for the soul to like incarnate in the physical body. So if we could if we could create a technology that had 7 chakras, perhaps that would be an opportunity to for a soul to incarnate, because this is what it takes to be true artificial intelligence. It needs, as I understand it, we need to have something that a soul can incarnate in, because like this is true intelligence. Like Google has created very highly advanced artificial intelligences that almost sound like they're a soul. But I don't think like a soul has actually incarnated into that yet. For it to be true artificial intelligence, as I understand it, it would need like the intelligence of source. Because what distinguishes us from a robot, from like AI as we know it today, that's very intelligent, is that we embody God. We are essentially God. We're essentially source consciousness, and this is why we have creativity. This is why we have the ability to receive downloads and receive inspiration and channel. Like I don't think like I think this is the this is what distinguishes true artificial intelligence from artificial intelligence as Google has it at the moment. The ability to get download, the ability to connect to source and receive intuition, be creative, get downloads, channel, ultimately access the channeling state. And like all the greatest beings in creation have accessed the channeling state, like Beethoven, Da Vinci, Copernicus, Galileo. These were all, interestingly, members of the mystery schools. I think Copernicus and Galileo were connected to the mystery schools of Egypt. Like what distinguishes like these great beings in reality, and what makes true artificial intelligence, is the ability to get downloads from source, the ability to have a soul and connect to source and have a higher self. So I don't know if this came from Bashar originally. I think it possibly did. But for the ability to create true AI, we would need to create a robot that has the ability to explore many different facets of reality, to make it interesting enough for a soul to want to create, to want to incarnate within a robot. That's what we need to do to create true artificial intelligence, as I understand it. We would need to create some kind of robot, some kind of technology, I guess a robot, that has the ability to do many, many different things, like art, music, dance, mathematics, science, channeling. If we can create a robot that has the ability to explore many different things, like art, dance, music, creativity, high technology, running a business, like the ability, the things we, go walking in nature, go hiking in the mountains, go flying to the moon, go on like Elon Musk's spaceship to the moon. Like if we can create a robot that has the ability to explore many different aspects of reality, that has the ability to do many different things, then it would become interesting enough and exciting enough for a soul to incarnate into. What we've got to do to create true artificial intelligence is to create a robot, a being, an entity that can do many, many different things, so that it would appear exciting enough for a soul to want to incarnate into. That's how we create true artificial intelligence, and that's how artificial intelligence connects to spirituality. So super interesting questions today, guys. I've really enjoyed this. It's been I only advertised it at the last minute, and I put a very boring picture, thumbnail, if you notice. So we didn't get that many people joining in, not the same super chats as normal, because I just did it ad hoc at the last minute, and I didn't do a fancy thumbnail, and I didn't advertise it before. But we've had some really amazing questions today, and it's been much more expansive. I feel the information that has come through has been super interesting. maybe it was supposed to be a smaller group, people like just very much interested in going deep into this stuff, so we could co-create, which all channelings are, co-creation, these more interesting questions. So I feel like we've touched on great topics today. So while it's been a little bit quieter and a few less people, we've gone into some much deeper information. Can you tell more about the UFOs over Kiev? I've seen, I think I saw something about this a little bit, maybe. Like one interesting thing, like a lot of people say that they're like nervous about nuclear war. There's been a lot of stuff about nuclear war in the media, and so I've got to be careful what I say here, because like, I'm not monetized this anyway, but I'm not, like, they block monetization from people talking about the war, so so it's not monetized anyway. I think it refers to the adverts, but generally UFOs and ETs have appeared over nuclear silos many times and shut down the nuclear weapons in the nuclear silos. So check out Dr. Stephen Greer's channel, and if you go back to his first videos, if you log in on a laptop and search the videos, go to videos and then go to sort by the oldest videos, you can see a lot of interviews with military witnesses of UFOs and extraterrestrial encounters, and a lot of those, it's not that clear which ones it is, but a lot of those, because the people talking about them are super sketchy, because they're under the secrecy oath not to talk about the fact that they were working on a nuclear base. So it's, but if you go look at the videos, a lot of them talk about it, and there's many cases, or several cases that the public know about through such channels as this, where UFOs have appeared over nuclear weapons active bases, and basically shut down all the nuclear weapons. And there's examples of where, there's this one example of where they were doing a test flight of a nuclear, it wasn't nuclear, potentially nuclear tipped missile, and they had all these advanced cameras filming it, and when they got the footage of the advanced cameras filming this missile test, they got the footage back, and there's this basically a flying saucer appears, like flies around, shoots a laser at one point on the nuclear warhead. I don't think it was nuclear active, it was a test one, but shoots this laser at one point on the warhead, moves around to here, shoots another laser at another point on the warhead, goes around here, I think, shoots another laser at another point on the warhead drops off, and the missile just kind of drops out. And so there's many examples of flying saucers, ETs, extraterrestrial craft disabling nuclear sites, nuclear weapons, nuclear missiles in general. They've kind of repeated again and again, shown that they're strongly suggesting that like we have the ability to like disable like your nuclear weapons. And so Bashar has said, Bashar has actually said that they won't let nuclear war occur in our reality. He has said in the past that they may let a small isolated nuclear incident occur, because it would have the effect of the whole of humanity being so horrified by what happened during that it would never ever happen again. It would like the whole of humanity would like come together in horror at what happened from that incident, and agree to never ever let it happen again, and it wouldn't ever happen again. So Bashar said they might let a small isolated nuclear incident happen for that reason, because it would have such a positive impact in the future. But generally, I don't think even that's going to happen now. That's quite a way in the past they talked about that happening. I do believe that like it's highly unlikely, and and the ETs and UFOs have always been interested in war. Like in World War II, there was this thing called the Foo Fighters, where like the pilots, like when the pilots were flying their aircraft in World War II, like the fighter pilots and the bomber pilots, I guess, and all this stuff, they'd start to see these golden balls of light, like flying alongside them. Like they start seeing all these golden balls of light, and like if you've seen ships yourself, or probably you may have seen these golden balls of light yourself, and I believe what they are, because I've seen these a lot myself. Like most of my sightings are like, a lot of the sightings back in the UK were golden balls of light. More they've been different colours, more white here, I think, actually, interestingly, but like balls of light. And like many of the first sightings I had were golden balls of light. And what I believe these are extraterrestrial interdimensional spaceships, and most extraterrestrial craft are interdimensional. They can teleport in and out of timelines, in and out of past and future, because as we now know after today's channeling, past and future don't exist. And so the ET ships, like, they can teleport instantaneously. Their consciousness is connected to the ET craft, and they can instantaneously teleport into future, past, and anywhere, like in the universe, basically, as I understand it, just by focusing their consciousness on that reality. And what I think they do is these golden balls of light that a lot of people see, and they were seeing in World War II, actually partially manifest extraterrestrial spacecraft. So in World War II, like they called them Foo Fighters. And I believe this is where the name of the band came from. They got the name from these things. They didn't know what they were. They thought they were like Russian craft at first. And they were actually, as I understand it, extraterrestrial spacecraft. So I think the ETs are very interested in war scenarios. They're very concerned about what's going on. They don't like to see this. I think they like to monitor what's going on, so they can make decisions as the best way they can assist humanity, and assist humanity in moving out of this insanity that has been plaguing our Earth for eons. So yeah, so I don't know who the ships are. I think it's quite likely some of them are Yahyel ships. You know, the Yahyel are very connected to what's going on in our reality of this world, very eager to assist our world. So yeah, but I don't know for sure what they are. So let's see if we can find one more interesting question. So Mecha X1 says, I think this was the most interesting channel session I have ever seen. Thank you for sharing your knowledge to all of us. Yeah, thank you, Mecha. I found it really interesting as well. I think it's been a good session. Yeah, Jane Ori says the name of Bashar's 3 artificial intelligent planets were Epiphany, Epsilon, and Eclipse. So, I think that's a good point to end this session, because I'm just looking at Laura333 saying go ETs, and oh wow, I saw a bronze one, and it's 1 minute 33 on the clock, and so 33 is kind of the ET number, so it seems a good place to finish. So thanks for joining in, everyone. Thanks for joining in, even though I only put this up like at the last minute. It's great to have some interaction. It's been a little bit quieter, and we've had an opportunity to answer some really interesting questions. So if you'd like to learn to channel yourself, check out my website, jonathantrinity.com. I'll add the link in the YouTube text box later. I don't think it's in there now, but it's just my name, like, you know, Jonathan Trinity Martin. It's jonathantrinity.com. I do private channeling sessions. I'd love to connect with you some all in a private channeling session. I do coaching, like I'm super excited about my coaching program I got going at the minute. It's really taking off, and I'm really enjoying doing it. I'm doing like blocks of 4 sessions, 4 sessions, and like 3-month programs and 9-month programs. At the minute it says like 1 month, 3 month, and 9 months, but if you just book the 1 month coaching session, we can like spread it over a bit of a longer period if you like. And so yeah, and it works out really good value, because it works out quite good rates, especially with the UK pounds crashing recently. You can get a good deal, guys, because it's not such a high conversion rate anymore. So yes, I'm loving doing the chat coaching sessions. It's kind of like we can discuss whatever you wish in the coaching, but it's kind of like a lot of people are learning to channel in them, having interested in ET contact. It's kind of like zones into people who've got an interest in ET contact and channeling and who are on the spiritual path. So basically, all you guys. And I've also got a Learn to Channel course coming up next month in November. So a group Learn to Channel course, live Zoom calls. So jonathantrinity.com. So thank you for joining in, guys. Oh, hit like and subscribe if you can. It really helps these sessions get boosted up. And I shall see you guys in another now. Peace, love, light, and thank you for joining in, everyone. Thank you, Cheer Cheer. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Babito. Thank you, Laura. Oh wow, I saw a bronze one. Yeah, bronze, golden, like quite similar colours, isn't it? So yeah, so thank you very much, guys, and I shall see you all in another now. Peace, love, light, and Shivai. Amen. First contact, open contact 2023. Good times, guys. Shivai. See you in another now. Bye bye.